Okay, welcome to day 3 of Alliance Tournament 9. I'm Kill2. I'm here in the commentary booth with the delicious Shadoo. And we're going to start things off today with the Godfathers versus Wildly Inappropriate. The Godfathers on your left feeling a start days, 3 of them, 3 Brutix, Oneros, Catalyst, and 2 Daredevils. And on the right, Wildly Inappropriate have brought 3 Tengus, a Loki, a Claymore, a Scimitar, 2 Cormorants, and 2 Thrashers. What do you think about this, Shadoo?
Well, it looks pretty clear-cut. We have a Galante Rush team with the Astartes and Brutixes who will want to make a beeline as fast as they can to what looks like a kite team from Wildly Inappropriate with Tengus and the Loki there for webs.
Yeah, I love this. This is going to be really fun to watch. We haven't seen a Galante Rush team yet.
As we see, the match is underway, and Godfathers warp to the beacon at 0 and are burning very fast, making a beeline towards the Wildly Inappropriate team. And we see a few of them actually catching up. The Daredevil is taking heavy fire. He went in there and went for scrams right away on a couple of the Tengus to try to slow them down and let the Astartes and the Brutixes to catch up.
Now, the Wildly Inappropriate team most likely has a little bit of E-War superiority because of the Tengus and the Destroyers, so that could be part of the problem the Daredevils are having receiving reps from the Oneros. 1 Daredevil did go down. So far, not a lot of damage coming in for anyone, though.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the point of Galante Rush team is to get in right on top of them, and when they do, and when they get those scramblers on, it's going to be goodbye to whoever they have under their guns. We have quite a bit of dampening here from the Wildly Inappropriate team. They are spreading out, and as you correctly pointed out there, the Oneros got damped out of range of those Daredevils, and the second one is now starting to go down.
Yep, and we did lose a Destroyer for Wildly Inappropriate, got a little too close and popped basically instantly. Now you see the Oneros taking damage. He will be shield tanked, although the rest of the Godfathers team will be armor tanked. Local shield's probably more effective for that Oneros, so he's in armor now. That's not good news for him, and the second Daredevil just dropped as well.
It's very weird for Godfathers to not go for one of those Tengus. I don't exactly understand what they are doing, but Wildly Inappropriate is taking a very convincing lead here so far. They don't really mind if those Thrashers or Cormorants go down. It's just some damps that they can do without. That Loki is really the linchpin of this team, and it needs to keep these Brutixes out of range. And as we see, the Oneros is starting to take heavy damage, and when that Oneros goes down, it's going to be a matter of time. Just picking down those Astartes and Brutixes.
Yeah, the Oneros not doing so well. One thing, we see a lot of the Slipknot Rush teams, and an important difference between the Slipknot Rush team and this Gallant Rush team is speed. And so it could just be that they're having, I think a Tengu actually could probably just straight outrun these Gallant command ships.
Yeah,
if they were piloted well.
Yeah, while these Galante Brutix hull ships do a lot of damage once they get on top of them. The problem is definitely their speed. As we see, the Claymore has been caught up by at least a couple of the Brutixes and Astartes, and we will probably see that one go down. But it is a very weird primary target to go for. You would think that the Loki is the linchpin.
That seems like a desperation. Like that's the only thing close enough.
Yeah.
For them to really have. They don't really have much of a choice, most likely.
Absolutely. I think at this point they are settling for any points that they can get from this match. This match is over. Wildly Inappropriate has won. It's just a matter of time now.
And I should mention also, I would love to tell you guys exactly how fast those Astartes are going. But before we started broadcasting today, the commentator computer actually exploded. So we are working off the same stream you guys are for now. Hopefully later on we'll have access to speeds and overview like usual. So the first Brutix getting close to going down. Of course, no support left logistics-wise for him. And they are working that Claymore, even with the Claymore having the most substantial tank on their team, most likely, and the Scimitar able to support him. He is dropping, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this Claymore will die. He is, of course, and has been overloading for at least a minute while taking heavy fire. The same with that Scimitar as well. Overheating comes into play in tournaments in a major way. Of course, you want to squeeze every second you can out of that tank there. And for some reason now, the Scimitar has been caught by at least a couple of the Astartes, so this will be a little bit of a match changer. Maybe they'll get a few more points. Of course, once the Scimitar goes down, nothing will keep that Claymore alive.
You guys can see right here, the Scimitar came right in next to the Claymore and the rest of the Gallant battlecruisers. I don't really know why he would choose to do that.
It's these kinds of pilot errors do occur, especially in the matches. There might have been some ECM drones or whatnot, and the pilot might have gotten a little bit, well,
Lazy?
lazy. Yes, exactly. It happens to the best of us. Of course, now the scimitar is down and he is dead, and this claymore will be worked down fairly quickly afterwards.
Another, well, I was going to mention another thing that comes into play a lot for this Galente team is going to be cap. I don't know how long they're going to be able to chase. You know, you'd think, okay, now we got the scimitar down, maybe we can break the claymore and they can hopefully get on top of something else, but with only 4 ships now, cap probably going to be kind of an issue, and they still have to get through the Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. This match has been over for quite a while. I mean, they can work this claymore down, but unless the Wild Inappropriate teams make some significant errors, there will be no way they can get all 3 Tengus down while that Loki is on the field. And this Loki is really the most important ship right now for a kite team against a rush team.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I've heard Ravy talk about a lot in practicing for the tournament and working with this sort of kite team is that actually, even though the arena seems pretty large, it's like 200K across or 250K across, something like that. Does that sound right?
That sounds about right. I mean, it's about 105, I think, from the beacon entered.
Okay.
I don't actually
So it's relatively large, but actually when you need to cover a lot of range like these Tengus do, it can be pretty difficult to avoid getting tackled. I mean, it takes some pilot skill really to keep from making mistakes. We kind of rag on people who mess up and get tackled, but it's not exactly easy when there's a confined space.
Yeah, this kind of team that Wild Inappropriate is fielding here, this kite team, really, as we see on the picture-in-picture, they have spread all over that grid, which means that every single one of them is really piloting as a single pilot, almost like solo PvP there. And that's where the solo pilot skills do come into play. You have to keep in mind where you are and that you do not get out of range, especially when you're trying to keep out of range of every single point that scramble that these start days have and web that they do have. That's where it really comes into play. But as we see, Wild Inappropriate is comfortably winning this match, and this match is of course important because the winner of this match is most certainly going to go through, while the loser is going to have a little bit of an interesting time looking at what's going to happen with the Kadeshi match. Because if Kadeshi actually win the next match, Godfathers, as they lose this match, will be dropped out.
Well, there you go. I was actually wondering when I saw the Galent setup if this was kind of we're comfortable, but we don't need the win, but we want to bring something solid, get some points, but they needed it, I guess. Sounds like really important match, and so I guess they thought the Galente team was going to be the one benefit. One thing we talked about coming into this weekend is that we saw so much ECM use during last weekend, and nobody knew how to deal with it. And definitely bringing full Galent rush rather than the Minmatar rush, or some kind of mix of ships, does offer something in relation to the ECM. So maybe they expected to run into something like that. I think this matchup for them, the Tengus, was probably the worst thing they could have come up against.
Absolutely. I mean, this is this is a kite team with a fair bit of anti-rush with that Loki in there as well. And as we saw, the Claymore probably had scramblers, and he blasted right straight into the coming armada of Galante ships, purposely getting himself tackled, just so that he could delay those Tengus being tackled and let them get out of range, which was absolutely the right choice to make. It was a sacrifice, but it was a sacrifice that Wild Inappropriate correctly made, and they really played this really well. Actually, the last match, Wild Inappropriate did bring an ECM team.
Okay.
So perhaps Godfathers were thinking, well, they're going to field ECM again. But I think, as we said last week already, I don't believe ECM teams are going to be very successful coming into the second weekend.
That's interesting. Why is that?
Well, most teams probably throughout the week, the only thing that they have practiced is how every single one of their setups can be adapted to combat and at least be somewhat resistant to ECM.
So just the awareness that it was something that's out there and is being successful means everyone's got to take it into consideration. And so if people bring it this time, it's probably going to be a little less. People are going to be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, it was fielded like almost every second match or every match on Sunday fielded some kind of ECM setups. And while most of the teams on Sunday even had the ability to win with the setups that they were fielding against the ECM. They didn't have the experience in practice to know which teams to primary first and how to play that out. And that has been the major focus throughout the week in their testing, which everyone, I know Pandemic Legion team has tested twice or three times every day throughout the week.
Yeah, I think, but as we get towards the middle of tomorrow, most of the teams that are left will be teams that worked really hard all week, refining and kind of, making sure they knew how to deal with whatever sort of situations they thought they might run into.
Absolutely. And as 10 seconds is left on the match, it looks like a somewhat of a success to Godfathers because they are denying some points for Wildly Inappropriate, but they've gotten only 32 points for this match. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the next one plays out.
All right, so we'll go back to Stauffer. That'll be a victory for Wildly Inappropriate.
Well done, guys.